Dr. Lance Davis, a chiropractor in Portland, Oregon, or Portlandia. He is now wanting veterans. He is guiding vets from survival mode into a flourish mentality, changing the stigma of mental health. He is Kristen's husband. You've seen Kristen on a show with Kayla. You'll find them giving so much nuggets of wisdom in Instagram. You can follow them at I am Dr. Lance Davis. And one of the coolest things is that we have one future goal, one dream in common that we get to share as well.
And what we want most, we want healing, So obviously we want that cabin, both you and I. We really want the cabin for sure. But really what drives our work is it's the work that we're going to do and the impact that we're going to have. Yes! I love it. That's going to go in my intro.
When I got out of high school, I took a year off before I went to college, and then I took a year in college, and I failed or dropped every class but one. And the only class I didn't fail was music theory.
Okay. Music theory.
Which was really easy. So I said, okay, I don't want to go to school, so I joined the military. My last year to 2 years of the Army, I had severe hip pain.
You say you had severe head pain. I lost you for like a time. Hip. Got it. Hip. I'm glad I clarified. Okay.
So I had severe hip pain. I went the military route. They took X-rays. I went through physical therapy. They gave me exercises and some stretches. They ended up doing an MRI with injection contrast. And then at one point they said, hey, we're going to do exploratory surgery.
Whoa.
Oh, you're just going to cut me open and explore, are we? Wow. And I said, nope. So I'm going to back up even more. When I got out of high school, I had the idea of maybe becoming a massage therapist, maybe going to physical therapy school, but nothing really sounded good. So back to the current time.
Yeah.
Hip pain. When that was happening, when they said exploratory surgery, I said no. My brother recommended, hey, you should go see this chiropractor back in our hometown. I was like, okay, sure. I knew about chiropractic a little, never really went to one. So I went to see this guy, and within 30 minutes, he was able to thoroughly explain what was going on. He was able to significantly reduce the pain, and he was able to provide help, exercises, movement, stretch, so that I could, quote unquote, fix myself. So I was really impressed by his knowledge and his knowledge of everything.
Yeah.
Because going to physical therapy, seeing a medical doctor, they didn't have anything for me. And this guy in 30 minutes was able to clearly and thoroughly explain what was going on. So I was like, okay, I'm sold.
Yeah. Results are so powerful.
Yeah.
They
Exactly.
speak louder than anything else. Wow.
Yeah. So that led me down chiropractic. I was in the Army for 5 years and some change. I got out in 2009. I had 2 tours, 1 year in Iraq, 1 year in Afghanistan. When I got out, I wanted nothing to do with the military. I wanted to cut all ties. I didn't even want to be recognized as a veteran. And now, within the last 2-3 years, I'm feeling called back into that that community. So when I got out, I was very much in the denial phase. Like, oh, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm great. You know, I'm a man. There's never anything wrong with me. And that was fine. When I was going to chiropractic school, one of my friends, he was in the Coast Guard, and he spent his whole 3 or 4 years on the beach in Costa Rica. And when you get out of the military, they look at your medical file, they look what you did, and they said, "Oh, you deserve this disability rating. Oh, your knees are shot, you have PTSD, you lost your hearing, you lost your arm," kind of stuff. So he had like 60% disability. So he gets paid on a monthly basis 60% of his pay when he got out of the military. He looked at me and he's like, "Dude, I spent my 3 years or 4 years on a beach and I got 60% disability. You need to get your disability reassessed. You've done stuff." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I went with this organization called DAV. I think it's Disabled American Veterans. Okay. It's separate from the VA. And they helped me go through the process of getting my disability reassessed. And while I was there, a gentleman said, "Hey, you've been deployed twice. You should get evaluated for PTSD." I was like, "There's nothing wrong with me, but okay, I'll go for it."
Yeah.
And he gave me a sheet of paper that was exactly what they look for. They're like, it's check boxes. And I'm like, all right, I got this. I brought it home. I studied it. I looked online. I was reading. And I went in there completely expecting to cheat the system. Because at the point, I didn't think there was anything wrong with me.
Right.
So a few months later, I went to a civilian psychologist through the VA, and this was my reassessment. And he asked me a few questions. Well, he asked me quite a few questions that I wasn't expecting. And I was like, oh. I walked out of there and I was like, oh, holy crap, maybe I do have PTSD. So that was enlightening. That was eye-opening. And at this time, I was going through school, doctorate program. I was like, okay, cool. That's fine. I don't have time for that. I mean, I'm studying hours a day and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So once I finally got through chiropractic school, I got my doctorate. I'm a practicing physician. I had some free time. I was like, okay, let's go to the VA and let's go through this process. And very quickly, I recognized that the VA was not for me. They wanted to do talk therapy, which isn't bad. But it felt like the people I was talking to weren't listening. And then they wanted to push meds on me. And I was like, dude, no, I'm not dealing with this. So at this time, I'm a treating physician. Remember that. So one day I went in there and I told my counselor, psychologist, whatever you want to call him, I said something along the lines of, yeah, I have constant headaches. I'm not sleeping well, so on and so forth. Mind you, I'm a chiropractor. I treat headaches on a daily basis, and I'm going to toot my own horn, pretty good at it. I wasn't getting any results in myself. So I knew where this was going. I set him up for it. And her response was, well, that's normal. And I was in my head, I said, nope, we're done here. I'm never going back, because there's a difference between normal and usual. So at that point, I was like, I'm done with the VA. I don't want anything to do with them. They're not treating me the right way. So there's a lot of things happening at once when this is going on. So at the same time, I'm treating patients in the clinic with head injuries, whether it's concussions from sports or auto accidents. And I'm seeing a direct correlation of my symptoms that I'm experiencing as PTSD. I'm seeing those symptoms in my concussion patients. I'm like, this is not a coincidence. So once again, I started doing a lot of reading, which led me to a civilian doctor who treats PTSD as TBI.
TBI. What
Yeah.
does that stand for?
TBI stands for traumatic brain injury.
Okay.
So concussion.
Oh,
Concussion,
okay.
head injury. I like the acronym TBI. So he treats it as TBI. So I went to him. I paid out of pocket, and I saw very good results. While I was a patient with him, I said, "This is fantastic. I really like this stuff. It makes sense. I want to be a part of it." So basically stopped being a patient and started being a mentor, not a mentor, a mentee.
Mentee. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mentee. So I went through his program, did a lot of research, did a lot of reading, and figured out how to treat PTSD as a TBI.
Okay.
So I got a lot of benefit from that. But even after that, there was still some lingering stuff that I was like, okay, this isn't it. So this is when I deep dove into diet, into self-improvement work, as you know, story work.
Yeah.
And it's a never-ending process for me. So now I am going about treating veterans and working with veterans in a I don't like to use holistic because everybody thinks that's all woo-woo. Holistic means a whole body approach.
Yeah.
We look at everything. So
Right.
I work with veterans and we take a whole approach.
Yeah. I like to say the whole human. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
We look at everything. We treat we look at the underlying causes, whether it's TBI, a bad diet, bad sleep, and then if there's symptoms of trauma and literal PTSD, then we'll get to that, and that's where the story work comes in. So the program, like I said, we're going to take a holistic, full body approach to working with these individuals that have transitioned out of the military and into the civilian world that are having a difficult time, don't have any direction. The relationships are bad. They're not sleeping well. Yeah, so we're going to take a holistic. We're going to look at everything. Right now, it's an 8-week program, but all of this is up in the air. This is a test program,
right?
And these 5 individuals are going to be a very crucial part. I'm going to talk to them separate from my coaching calls. I'm going to talk to them once every 2 weeks and get feedback. How can we make it better? What do we need to add? What do you want to see? Because like I said, this is going to be a much, much, much larger program going out. Listen.
For you to listen, for the
So me as the doctor, the practitioner, the coach, whatever, is listen. If my patient or client doesn't feel like they're being heard, why are they going to want to reciprocate?
Yes.
Listen and then question.
Got it.
Play the question game. See why they're there. I mean, gosh, I don't know how many times before I go into the physical exam and put my hands on the patient, and that sounds weird, but what I do, I already know what's going on pretty much, and I'm able to diagnose just by asking the right question.
Yes. That's really good. And you had mentioned earlier too that when you went to like the VA, the 2 things you were not happy is like they didn't listen and they were pushing meds.
Yep.
Because the meds numbs, ignores the whole reason why you're having pain. And so I love that. Mark, I hope you're watching this because I'm going to put it on Slack. One of the things that Mark said that has been very impactful for me, and it still is that any interaction with a client, if you could just add value, doesn't matter how big, and he was vulnerable that he was expecting someone to cry and have this huge aha moments. And I'm like, wow, that's very vulnerable. And wow, that's what I desired. And I changed a lot of my methods. I had an online program. I was like, no results, take it out. Okay, I want to do this. Oh, I didn't see a huge impact. Take it out. And so it's really helping me how when I sit with someone, and like today I met with a client at 8:30 a.m. And so we finish, and I was like, anything else? She's like, no, I'm full. I am so full, like not full in a bad way, but like everything, I'm ready to go. And I'm just like, yes, amen to that. Like, this is perfect, because it was a short session. And just to hear that was awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just to hear the results.
Great conversation with Dr. Lance here. You can reach out to him. He's currently doing discovery calls. Instagram is I_am_Dr. Lance Davis, or you could go to his website at flourishhealthcommunity.com.
Dr. Lance Davis, thank you so much for your time and
thank you
in joining the conversation with the youth.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
Yep. Take care.
Right.
Healthy Heart.
That NTA conference, thank you for recommending me. That was awesome.
Did you do all 3 days? Like you went for that is so awesome. Tell me a highlight. What made it so awesome?
The speakers were really good. Terry Walls was obviously really good. I was maybe one of a handful of males there, which I was not expecting.
I did not prep you for that.
I was like, okay, there's another guy there, which I feel I'm comfortable with females. That, and I just met a lot of really cool, great people. It was a really good conference.
Cool. And the vibe, right? Like of people who really very passionate about helping others. That's one of the things I love.
And I didn't know anything about this NTA before I went here. Mm-hmm. And there were practitioners, coaches, whatever you want to call them, therapists.
Yeah.
That they're working with people with MS, Parkinson's,
yes,
autoimmune diseases, and they're getting results. And you know what? They're not doctors. They never went to school. They don't have a massive amount of debt. We need more people like that.
Yeah.
We don't need doctors anymore.
Right.
I might have stepped on a few people feet there, but
totally cool.
For the general health and wellness, we don't need doctors. If my arm falls off, that's when I need a doctor.
Sure. Don't give me any veggies if my arm falls off. Just send me straight to the hospital, please.
Eat your veggies beforehand. And then
exactly. So you can recover way faster. Yeah.
Yeah.